Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Today we'll talk about how to crack your MVP from ideation to successful launch. And I'll start with a little bit about me. My name is Amir Beno. I'm a father to two beautiful girls and I live in Israel. I'm building product in the last 15 years. Currently, I'm a senior product manager at Fiverr, which I will elaborate more in a few more slides. Previously, I was a product manager at Gigia, a B2B SaaS startup, a leader in the customer identity and access management domain that was acquired by SAP, today known as Customer Data Cloud. Prior to that, I founded a startup called City Stores, which helped businesses to move from the offline world to the online more easily. And same as many other product managers, I also started my career as a developer at Mamram, which is IDF, Israeli Defense Force Elite Software Unit, where I served multiple dev and management roles. So let's start. Today I'll talk about how to crack your MVP. And to all of you NBA fans, I'm not talking about Giannis, the most valuable player of 2020. I'll talk about minimal viable product. And I'll start by talking about the ideation process and how to properly plan your MVP, move to the execution phase until launch, which hopefully will be as successful as possible. And I'll wrap up with some key takeaways. So you all know how it starts. It starts with an idea, whether it's your idea or other stakeholders' idea, and you need to bring this idea to life. So at Fiverr, we use the 6 Qs playbook to do so every time we need to work on a new project or a new problem, making sure that we are addressing the real problem that we want to solve. And the idea is very simple. The first question is why? What is the problem you are trying to solve? The second is data proof. What data supports the hypothesis that a problem exists? Number 3 is the hypothesis. If we will do X, then Y will happen, talking about how to fix that. Number 4 is about your audience. Who is the person using your product and what's their touch points with it? Number 5 is about your business opportunity. What would be the impact of fixing this problem? And number 6 is about your key performance indicators, your KPIs. How would you measure success? So I'm sure it was super clear, but Albert Schweitzer says, a good example has twice the value of good advice. So let me give you a real example of how this 6 Qs playbooks looks like based on a real product that I've launched on Fiverr, which I'm very proud of. So before that, let me tell you 2 minutes about Fiverr for more context. Fiverr is the world's largest marketplace for digital services with a mission to change how the world works together. It connects businesses of all sizes with talents offering endless digital services. So for example, whether you are a small startup that need your first logo design or business card, or maybe you are a mature business who needs to build your presence online, anything can be found on Fiverr within more than 400 categories available today. So as Fiverr grow, Fiverr become the main source of income to the majority of our freelancers. And they start thinking about ways to grow their business and to attract more buyers. Like other big marketplaces, we wanted to provide our freelancers tools to do so and to grow their business on Fiverr. So back to our 6 Qs playbook, here's an example based on product called Promoted Gigs, how we address the problem understanding. Obviously, this is just a short brief because the real document contains multiple pages. So the first question about why is about a tool for our freelancers to promote their businesses and gain more visibility. Second is about data proof. And we have lots of data highlights the high competition between our freelancers to appear in prime locations. The hypothesis was very clear. If we will offer our freelancers a promotion tool, they will be able to gain more visibility and grow their business on Fiverr. Number 4 was a tricky one. the audience. We have a variety of freelancers with a very limited experience in marketing and advertising campaigns. The opportunity that we are aiming for was a win-win-win situation. It's a win for our freelancers to grow their business and earn more money. It's a win for our buyers to boost quality selection on Fiverr. And for Fiverr, it's about increasing the revenue by collecting ad click costs. Number 6, our KPIs were split into 2. The short term were focused about get product adoption, ensure relevance, protect the buyer experience at all costs, making sure that only high quality services are being promoted. And the long term was focused about making sure that the freelancers have a positive ROI while increasing Fiverr revenues. Great. So now that we have fully understand the problem domain, let's plan our MVP. And the first thing that we are doing every time we are tackling a new project is doing research. You should better understand your domain, its terminology, who are the main players and what they're offering. In Promoted Gigs, we wanted to learn about all other marketplaces named below and to learn what challenge each marketplace faces. And to learn that, we looked on their forums, we looked on their YouTube channels, read their official education materials, and even set some conversations with related stakeholders and peers from that companies to learn about their insights. And if you wonder how it can be done in your case, I'm sure that with a little help from your LinkedIn friends, you can find your peers and know how to reach them. The second step is about performing surveys to your audience, because the easiest way to get feedback from your audience is just to ask them. In Promoted Gigs, we wanted to learn about what the freelancers needs, the level of expertise in online advertising, and even asked about rough estimations about their goals, their budgets, the pricing models, and the outcome expectations. It was super helpful for us to better understand our audience and to plan our product accordingly. Third, when it's relevant, is about thinking what past experience your company has that can be useful for your product. And let me tell you a little secret. My version of Promoted Gigs was the third time Fiverr tries to launch such a product. And I'm not sure if it's less stressful or not, but you need to objectively ask what worked well in the previous versions and what's not that needs to be changed. Scoping is everything when it comes to really specify your minimal viable product features. Your product must deliver value from day one. So make sure you are able to identify what delivers the value the most for your audience, as this will be your must-have feature. Any other functionality, even if it sounds obvious, try to challenge with the idea of what will be if we will start without it. This can be super crucial, especially if you have tight deadlines to launch your product. And a big part of the scoping phase is related to definition of your target audience. Think about your early adopters. Who are they? What will convince them to adopt your product? What's there with them? What's in it for me? And how will you communicate that when you launch? Promoted Gigs, for example, was focused about what we called second-tier freelancers, which means those who get a lot of traffic already today, but not the most, as we thought that they will appreciate the idea and the importance of appearing first in prime locations, and they will get the chance of using this feature first. So after investing valuable time in planning and thinking, now it's the time for the execution phase. And in one word, it's all about being in focus. Our motto was, what won't be simple, simply won't be. And it was set based on multiple insights we've gathered from the planning phase, understanding our audience. Our main KPI for that phase was getting product adoption. And it led us to focus on easy onboarding with a minimum requirements or thinking step, as we called it, from the freelancer. Remember, I've mentioned that most of our audience have a very limited experience in online marketing. So we started with a super lean approach, which very fast proved to be not that lean at all. So we did multiple iterations on simplifying the process, taking bold decisions such as setting the bid, which is by far the most important part in this product, on their behalf without a way for them to edit it until onboarding completion. A decision that proved to be a key for our success moving forward. Second, run usability test. Everything we did, we tested it on real users using interactive prototypes only. We conducted several usability tests with a variety of freelancer personas, monitored by stakeholders from a variety of teams in the company, such as customer support, design, UX copy, developers, and more, led by our UX researcher. Each session allowed us to gather insights about what's working well and what's not, improving the prototype from session to session, allowing us to sharpen our product and our messaging way before we started the development phase. And the last thing we did before launching was to run a dry run, when it's possible, obviously. Promoted Gigs involved many integrations with multiple touch points across the marketplace. And a dry run allows us to use real data from production to test our new system. So even though our system was tested on a test environment before, the production dry run helped us to identify some crucial and critical issues that we could address before the official launch. And then it came, congrats, the launch day, you made it. But now it's only the beginning, right? You have lots of more things to think about and take care of. Think about your audience again. What will be their incentive to use your product? Offer them a coupon or some premium access to an extra feature. In my case, for example, it was a $10 gift that we offered to start promoting that was proven to be a real game changer. So we decided to keep it to all audiences as the product grows. Invest in proper education. Yeah, even if your product is super lean and simple to use, you still need to make sure that all your audience questions will be addressed properly. So whether it's a landing page with a video explainer or an FAQ document, this process also might be beneficial for you when it comes to sharpen your messaging strategy. And to add to that, if possible, offer your early adopters high-touch support. Our customer support teams proactively reached out the entire list of early access invitees and guide them towards the onboarding completion, addressing key concerns, questions, and deliver valuable feedback from them directly to me allowed me to really feel the audience and track the adoption. Wait, but I've promised a successful launch, so how do I know if it's successful or not? So do you remember the 6 Qs playbook that we started with, specifically the last question about the KPIs? So it's all about that. It's all about data. Quantitative data is about having a proper tracking on all key metrics and KPIs. It could be only the onboarding funnel or the product activation and deactivation events, any usage metrics that are relevant, such as ROI or amount spent. The more, the merrier. And having said that, don't forget about qualitative data. Add tools to track a single session of a user. Conduct personal interviews with different personas, both those that are super successful and also those who churn. Hear about their thoughts and their learnings. Listen to what they have to say on multiple channels, whether it's the forums, the webinar, YouTube, or any other channel that they share their opinion. Okay, so I'm sure it was a lot of information to handle. So to wrap it up, I chose 3 key points that I wanted to highlight. Focus on your target audience. Define your target audience. You should know them, understand their needs, and learn what will motivate them to use your product. Second, look for quantitative and qualitative insights. It's all about data. Invest in building proper reports and dashboards to track your metrics, and never neglect the individual by having ongoing personal interviews and session tracking. And lastly, offer high-touch support, especially important in the early phases to proactively drive your audience toward adoption and gather feedback. With that, I'd like to thank you all for listening. Really appreciate it. And please reach out with any questions. Cheers.